Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. I'm going to be talking to golfers today. So I am excited to be presenting these lives actually twice a week. And a different great topic each time. And today's topic, I think I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Today's topic is for golfers, and it's related to golfers, carrying energy forward. And I believe it affects golfers way more than they realize. And it's this: if you've never just let me rephrase that. You are never just hitting the next shot. You are bringing yourself to the next shot. And this is the opportunity I want you to really hear, because most golfers have been taught to think about improvement through things, through a very narrow lens. They look at mechanics, they look at ball striking, they look at setup, they look at club path, they look at tempo, they look at technique. And of course, all of that matters. But if that is the only lens a golfer uses, they miss one of the biggest reasons they do not perform like their real ability on the course. They miss the fact that what they are carrying internally is affecting what happens externally. And that is a huge shift, because a lot of golfers think each shot stands alone. And technically, yes, every shot is a new opportunity, but mentally and emotionally, golfers carry things forward all the time. They carry the last miss, they carry the bad hole, they carry the embarrassment, they carry the frustration, they carry the score, they carry the urgency, they carry the pressure, they carry the fear of repeating what just happened. And then they step into the next shot thinking they are just trying to hit a golf ball. But no, they are bringing all of that with them. And that is the big domino here. If you do not understand how what you carry is affecting your golf, you will keep trying to fix the wrong problem. And that is what I see so often. The golfer thinks, I need another swing thought. I need more. I need my mechanics or more mechanic work. I need to focus harder. I need to try harder. I need to make this one count. I need to stop doing that thing I just did. And sometimes there is something technical to clean up, but many, many times the bigger issue is not that the golfer does not know how to hit the shot. The bigger issue is that they are not entering the shot free. They are entering it loaded. Loaded with reaction, loaded with tension, loaded with memory, loaded with meaning, loaded with self protection. And that changes everything. And this is one of the reasons I care so much about the mental game, because I have seen so many golfers with plenty of ability, plenty of skill, plenty of experience, and plenty of sound mechanics who still do not perform like themselves on the course. And why? Right? Because they are dragging things forward. So I want to give you a simple example, because I think this helps people feel it. Let's say a golfer hits one poor shot. Now, one poor shot by itself does not have to ruin anything, but what happens often is they react internally, right? Now they are irritated. Now they are tight. Now they're trying to make up for it. Now they want the next one to prove something. Now they are more careful. Now they are more guarded. Now they are less trusting. Now they are not just playing the shot in front of them, they are playing from the emotion within them related to the last one. And that is how one moment starts affecting many moments. And a lot of golfers do not realize how often that is the real issue. So the new opportunity is not just how do I hit better shots? The new opportunity is how do I stop carrying so much from one shot to the next? And that is much more important. It's much more important as a question than many golfers actually realize, because when you answer that, now more of your actual game gets to show up. So let's talk about where most golfers get stuck. And there's a secret here that I want to share. And it's this: there's a belief in the vehicle that's going to get them from like point A to point B, like where they are now to where they want to be. So a lot of golfers believe the answer is mostly mechanics, right? Maybe I'm not performing as well as I practice. I can't pull it off when I'm on the course. When it matters, I seem to fall apart, right? Like that's where you are now, but where do you want to be? And there's a vehicle to get you there. And most golfers think that that's related to mechanics, right? So when things go wrong, they go straight back to the swing. And again, I'm not against mechanics. Mechanics do matter. Technique matters. Practice matters. But a mechanical answer can't always solve a mental interference problem. And that is the truth, right? Because if your body is tighter, if your tempo has changed, if your trust has dropped, if your attention is split, your emotions are bleeding into the shot, then you are not simply dealing with a swing issue, you're dealing with a state issue. And that is why a golfer can look one way on the range and another way on the course. It is not always because the swing disappeared. Sometimes access to the swing disappeared, and that is a very different problem. So when golfers only use mechanics as the vehicle, they can spend years trying to fix something that is not actually the root, right? And that is why this matters. And then I've got another secret that I want to share with you, and that's related to the internal false belief of, this is where golfers make it about them and their identity, and they label themselves with things that then keep them limited, right? They start thinking, maybe I'm not mentally strong. Maybe I'm too emotional. Maybe I always lose it. Maybe I'm inconsistent. Like I'm just inconsistent, right? I never perform as well in competition as I do in practice. I'm not mentally strong, right? I'm too emotional. I always lose it. I'm not just I'm not built for this. I'm not cut out for this. I'm just not built for pressure. I choke, and this is just who I am, right? Those are all internal false belief systems that can keep somebody stuck. And I really want to slow this down because this part matters. A lot of golfers are judging themselves for something that is actually a pattern. It's not an identity, it's a pattern, like a habit, something that's been repeated and then is on autopilot, a carryover pattern, a reaction pattern, a tension pattern, a protection pattern, a pattern of letting one moment spill into the next. These are habits. And that should be very good news for you, because if it is a pattern, if it's a habit, then it can be trained, right? If it's a pattern, it can be interrupted. If it's a pattern, it can be understood. If it's a pattern, it can be changed. And that is one of the most freeing things a golfer can realize, because now the conversation changes from what is wrong with me to what is happening in me. And that is a much smarter question. And that is, one reason I developed my mental training framework the way that I did, because not not just to tell golfers be positive, not to just hand them random little mindset tips, not to just hype them up, but to help them understand what pressure does, what tension does, what carry over does, what the mind does under challenge, and how to train so they can respond differently. That's a system. That is not fluff. That is real work. I want to share with you a third secret here, and that's related to external, outside of you, like false beliefs that are holding you back. So golfers, they move outside of themselves for blame and excuses. Well, I'd be better if it weren't this course, if I weren't with these people, if the round mattered less, if the conditions were better, um, if I didn't care so much, if I could just get an easier environment, right? But golf is not going to stop being golf. Pressure is not going to go away. Conditions are not always going to be ideal. The game is not going to stop exposing all the stuff you carry. There will be moments that matter. There will be shots that test you. There will be rounds where the old patterns want to show up. So the real breakthrough is not waiting for a better environment. It is becoming the kind of golfer who can reset inside of the environment. That is mental freedom. That is where consistency lives. Because the best golfers are not just better at hitting shots, they are better at recovering, they're better at releasing, they're better at resetting, they are better at not letting one shot infect the next. They're better at not making the whole round pay for one mistake, and that is a huge difference. And I think many golfers do not realize how much their inner state affects not only their own next shot, but the emotional tone of the entire round, right? Their pace changes, their decisions changes, their confidence changes, their commitment changes, their body changes, and sometimes even the people around them feel it too. Your golf affects more than you realize. And part of that is what you carry forward. So let me give you something practical here. The next time you play, I want you to ask yourself after a miss or after a hard moment, what am I carrying into the next shot right now? Not what club should I hit, not what mechanic do I need. That can come after. So first ask, what am I carrying? Am I carrying frustration? Am I carrying fear? Am I carrying urgency? Am I carrying embarrassment? Am I carrying the need to make up for something? And then ask, does that belong in the next shot? And that question alone can create a huge amount of awareness, because you cannot release what you do not even notice, right? And the best golfers, they're not perfect. They are simply better at noticing and resetting. So if this speaks to you, you know the mental side of your game is where the real leak has been. I do want to invite you to my free web class. And in this class, I go deeper into the mental framework behind why golfers get in their own way, why they underperform on the course, even when the skill is there, and how to stop letting pressure, tension, and carryover totally hijack their performance. So from there, for golfers who want the full process, I do have a complete online course built on the mental training system that I developed over the last 25 plus years. That course gives you the full framework not just like inspiration, not just information, but a real system for understanding what is happening in your mind and learning how to train for better performance and more trust and more freedom and more consistency. So start with the free web class. You can access it on my website. It's dawngrant.com, DAWNGRANT, dawngrant.com. Come learn the framework. And if it resonates, you can go deeper with me inside of the full course. So I'd love to help you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. I enjoy doing these lives and I enjoy bringing you this information right there where you're at. And I'll see you in the next live. Be sure to follow my social media so that you can not only get free tips, but you'll know when I'm doing the lives. See you in the